After finishing up what was probably my 200th game of online head-to-head in College Football 25, I was finally excited to get into some College Football 26 and see if EA Sports can build off that solid foundation it had laid before us, especially after so many years away. So with the year under their belt and feedback coming in from all different directions, I'm curious if they can truly build off the stuff we loved, made it easier for me to get tempo into the national championship game, and make enough small improvements to what we didn't like so when combined it all creates something special. I'm Chris from Sports Gamers Online, and alright, let's get it. I was afraid College Football 26 would take a step back or not improve on last year. We finally got the game back, don't mess it up, you know? But I can comfortably say they didn't, with improvements to gameplay, game modes, and presentation. Speaking of, first off, let me say, I was like, really y'all, when I scrolled over to College Football 26 on the home screen and heard the same music starting up. But then I loaded up and they actually gave us what we wanted. A full playlist of school songs and covers of popular songs played by actual instruments. You didn't realize how important a diverse collection of music in video games was until you heard the same thing all year. Now moving on, 25 set a high bar as far as the presentation went with the introductions in each stadium, and once again they brought it here, with not as noticeable improvements beside the stadium lighting here. And the updated score bug is probably the coolest one I've seen in any sports video game. I'm way too excited whenever they change it in video games, and I thought last year's Madden one was smooth. But this thing is beautiful, bro. Oh my goodness. Between play presentations have also been enhanced to help with immersion. Championship games and rivalry matchups get special treatment that makes them feel appropriately important. The pacing still prioritizes gameplay, but important moments get their due. As far as gameplay, your enjoyment varies depending on what you're doing. College Football 26 brings back passing types, which lets you select how you want to throw the ball in game, making it simple for newcomers with classic passing, just being worried about hitting the receiver's icon, but deep enough with revamped passing to allow you to rainbow drop passes over linebackers' heads down the middle of the field. There are also way more catching animations receivers can pull off this year, making one-on-one situations a lot more dynamic. The game does have a few issues with the passing offense. Quarterbacks are allowed to start their throwing motion and not fumble or get sacked way later in the process than last year. So that just means you'll be able to escape a lot more sacks if you notice a pass rusher is about to hit you and the ball just hits the ground. Another is the blocking. Elite edge rushers do feel dangerous when they have favorable matchups, or dangerous in general. Man, have any of y'all played South Carolina? Dylan Stewart, bro, wow. But what happens way too often is the offensive line just letting dudes come right on through untouched, having me think they just found a new hot blitz already, or they brought back nanos. Or just in general, the offensive line not doing what you know they should and instead try to block somebody on the sidelines. It's frustrating. Mobile quarterbacks are again the true game changers, but be prepared for an uncomfortable number of broken sacks by them again. I get breaking one, but what seems to happen more than once is guys like Sellers or Milroe last year break the first sack, then they're automatically going to break the next two as well. I know it's the ability, but all the fast QBs have it. It's annoying. And there's this annoying tilt the camera does when you try to scramble on the edges that forces you back towards the middle of the field because it's slanted. Now you also have the ability to juke in the backfield to avoid incoming defenders. I haven't gotten completely nasty with it yet, but I like this ability. I may have accidentally done it a couple times trying to hot route until I realized they changed that button. Running the ball inside is a nice give and take. You get rewarded for playing good run defense, filling the gaps, but you can get gashed if you guess wrong. The game just has a big issue with pursuit angles on the edge, and defenders not keeping contained and letting ball carriers break it to the outside with ease. It's frustrating because players, a lot of them tend to break everything to the outside and you're getting rewarded way more often for it. One notable addition to running is that you're now able to reach for extra yards by holding the right stick up while getting tackled. I haven't fumbled doing this yet, but I'm curious why not just do it every play. The highlight on defense comes from its customization. In the coaching adjustments, you're now being able to adjust your safety's positioning independent of the defense. It's just and the custom zone depths is ridiculously deep. I'm afraid it's something the average gamer won't dip into very often or even know it's there. Being able to adjust this on the fly and not just in the menus is a huge win for the defense. It kind of evens it up because the offense could do this last year. Now there are some issues that still show up, like zone defenders super swatting when their backs are turned. And maybe I had a bad run of games, but a crazy amount of dropped interceptions. Like, I know that's why they're cornerbacks, but come on, man, that should not be happening at the rate it does. And there are also defensive line stunts in the game by holding the play you want to call and selecting one of the options you have at your disposal to make them run stunts on the offensive line. Switch stick, which was introduced last year, for those unfamiliar, it gives you the ability to switch between defenders mid-play just by flicking the right stick in different directions. And it works the same as last year, which was good and a great addition for defense. And it does have an easier learning curve as far as on-the-field gameplay additions go, and really rewarding once you get the hang of it. Now, some of the tackle animations this year are beautiful. I'm amazed by how many different ways players can fall while looking completely natural. There hasn't been a single moment so far that looked fake or awkward. I especially love when defenders just ragdoll drag players across the grass. In terms of the sheer number of things you can do now, defense got a lot of love this year. I mean, it's early in the season, some rust, but man, it shouldn't be quite this challenging to hit a routine kick. Kicking under pressure, forget about trying to separate the man from the boys. It's gonna be, I have no shot at this. Kick returns have been toned down from last year, where it seemed like I housed a kick every other game. If you got the game to play Dynasty, which is probably a lot of you, you're in luck. Say goodbye to Brian Burnside and hello, Ryan Day. Real coaches are now in the game, and I'll just give it a solid nice. Don't get me wrong, it is cool seeing the coaches I actually know coming out the tunnel now, but yeah. Now, digging more into Dynasty mode, there have been some real improvements here. Starting small, the record keeping is a simple thing that I'm not going to credit you for adding, but as someone who used to spend hours studying player cards in Madden, having a record book that updates each season is cool. Thank you. Now, the constant balancing act Dynasty mode has to play is in not making it too easy to build juggernauts, and the recruiting system has had the difficulty cranked up a bit from last year. Building a program from scratch now requires more strategy and patience, especially with players hopping all over the place. Pipelines appear to carry more weight in recruiting than last year, and recruits actually change their mind about what they care about during recruitment, which is realistic, I guess, but annoying. In a good way, though. Briefly mentioned, but the transfer portal is back. Half the players on my team left in one of my simps. Okay, let's say it's realistic. Especially if you're at a small school. Good luck out there. The constant threat of your whole offense rolling out will keep you wanting to make sure you have depth. One change that also should have been in the game last year is the coaching carousel has been upgraded, and you can rise the ranks at the school you're currently at, which wasn't possible last year. Like I said, Dynasty mode feels like they said good luck and cranked everything up to 11. I'm still figuring out if this lane's on fun but challenging or too difficult. But having a successful program will still come from staying on top of everything that comes with building it. The biggest upgrade to Road to Glory is the new high school experience. This experience allows you to play through your senior season of high school while trying to earn a scholarship to the school of your dreams. The brightest spot of this whole ordeal is the recruiting part. You have a recruiting board where you manage your top 10 teams throughout the season. As you play games, you'll receive scholarship offers from different schools. However, it doesn't end there. If you continue to play well, you can earn a better scholarship offer from the same school. This can include things like extra starting skill points, a higher starting leadership bonus. However, if you play bad or a school signs another player at your position, your offer could go down in value or even be pulled. This system of managing different offers and picking when you want to commit or decommit from a school to lock in a current offer is incredibly fun and makes the recruiting process feel really realistic. However, once you're actually on the field, the high school experience is incredibly shallow. Instead of getting to play full games in high school, you only play 4 moments or drives in the game. Before the game, you select 4 moments to play in that game, each with its own set of objectives and influence on the schools on your recruiting board. So if you wanted to get an offer from a specific school, you'll want to pick the moments that have the highest influence multiplier for that school. The problem with this experience is that completing these moments objectives is the only thing that matters during these high school games. You're not worried at all if you actually have a good game or whether or not your team wins. Now, for some, being a player that only cares about your highlights and making sure you get your offers could be a fun character to roleplay. However, I wish we had the option to also be that leader of the team that helps us go on a deep playoff run, The current system doesn't make me feel connected to my high school or my teammates at all. It makes the gameplay sections of this experience feel more like a glorified workout for scouts than your actual senior year. Outside of this, there are a few other additions. The coach happiness rating has been added alongside coach's trust to give you a more immediate indicator of where you stand with your head coach. Coach happiness will be more dynamic as your coach reacts to your play on the field and your actions off it. This rating will affect how easy or hard it is for your coach trust rating to increase or decrease. There are also more customization options for your player. This includes new pre-play stances, as well as new throwing motions for your quarterback. The progression of your player has returned as well. It is easier to get skill points now during the season, while the amount each upgrade gives you is smaller. This makes me feel like I'm actually making my player better throughout the year, whereas last year I will play an entire season and barely see my guys' attributes increase at all. When you first load in the Ultimate Team, you will be hard-pressed to immediately notice anything new about the popular card collecting mode. The UI and layout all appeared nearly identical to how it was last year. However, there are a couple meaningful updates to the mode. The biggest addition is a new single-player mode called Study Hall. In this mode, you will play a series of 12 games against the computer. Each subsequent game in the series gets more difficult. How you perform across these 12 games determines what rewards you receive. One quality of life feature I appreciated is that now when you open a pack, you are immediately shown how it compares to your current starter at that position. With a simple click of the right trigger, you can quickly slot that new card in as the starter in your lineup. At the end of the day, live service modes like Ultimate Team are ultimately judged by their live content that releases throughout the year. The team plans to bring more programs and live events to the mode throughout the college football season. One new event that will come later this year is Conference Clash, where you build a squad of players from the same conference to play against each other online. College football is just different than Madden. The tradition, the fans, everything that goes into it makes it such a unique entity. And College Football 26 understands the responsibility to accurately capture this in all the different game modes, on the field gameplay and presentation. College Football 26 builds off of the foundation 25 laid without losing any of the magic that made that release date special. The new additions to gameplay make it fresh, and Dynasty knew what it had and knew what needed to change, and they did it. Whether you're trying to juke 5 defenders with Jeremiah Love rebuilding the next powerhouse, or starting your career in Road to Glory, College Football 26 gives you plenty to play around with. I wanted this to be amazing, and you know what? It actually is. So with that, I give College Football 26 an 8.5 out of 10.